Good morning. It's really good to be back home. It's really, really good to be back home, spend time with my family, and be with my church family again. I'm really looking forward to worshiping with my church family tomorrow. So thank you. And thank you for your support over the years. I'm now in my 7th year at Casa Shalom, living in the orphanage in Guatemala, and that is because of Cross Community Church. Cross Community Church sent me, continues to send me and supports me. And Pastor Vance, what you said too is, although Cross Community has been support for me financially, I know that Cross Community Church's prayers and your prayerful support of me has gotten me through my time in Casa Shalom, which has been great. But there have definitely been moments where I know I've needed the support of my church family in their prayers and just holding me up in some of those times. So thank you. And it's tough now because following Pastor Vance is really difficult because, not even because of how do you follow that, but because of, wow, what was I supposed to talk about? What am I doing? I was really engaged in that. I love storytelling. I'm not really a great storyteller, but I love hearing stories. And I remember from when I was young, in my church, I remember our missions conferences, and I remember being enthralled by the stories of the missionaries. I'll tell you this though too, I did not feel called to be a missionary. I loved it. I loved what missionaries did, what they do. I wanted to support it. I wanted to hear what they do. I wanted our church to always have as many missionaries as possible so I could continue to hear their stories. But there was never a moment, and I prayed, I asked, am I supposed to go into missions? I never felt called to missions. But I think what, Vance, what you were saying about how God just gives us a compass. If we're just looking to be within his will and take the next steps, then he can do anything. So he doesn't have to say, tell me when I'm in elementary school or junior high or high school what I'm going to do when I'm in my 40s. He just needs us. He just needs me. He just needs us to be obedient and to be willing to take the next step. So in all my life, what I've wanted is God's perfect will. What I've wanted to be right is to be right in the center of his will and doing what he wants and needs me to be doing, to be part of whatever process he was bringing me through, to be part of whatever work he was putting me near or in. That is a desire, and I think that is what Cross Community does well in encouraging you all to be part of supporting missions and missionaries. And I'm so grateful for Cross Community Church, not only for supporting me, but for the other missionaries and ministries and missions that the church supports and makes possible. It's the right heart for the church to have, and I'm so grateful that Cross Community and Pastor Randy have that heart for missions and ministries and missionaries. And I know Pastor Randy he asked me before I knew I was meant to go to Casa Shalom. He asked me if I felt like I should be a full-time missionary for Cross Community Church. And although that sounds really spiritual, I know it's because he was just praying, God, would you just send her anywhere? Just send her. So really what that comes down to is God listens to his prayers more than he listens to mine. But I am so grateful. I'm grateful that I have a church family that I can come back to who still feels like my family. I still feel and know I'm home when I come here, and I thank you for that. Thank you for your support of me and of Casa Shalom. As pictures have been going on behind me, but just for those of you who don't know, I'll just briefly say that Casa Shalom is an orphanage in Guatemala. I live within the orphanage. We currently have 70 kids. We've had as many as 120 kids since I've been there. I am responsible for receiving new kids as they come in. Our kids come to us by an order of judge, so they've been removed from their homes due to a negligence, abuse, some of our abandonment. Some of our kids are true orphans, have lost their family members. So our kids come to us for those reasons. I receive them. There's a process of receiving them. And then we immediately get them enrolled in school. And Casa Shalom, for anyone who's been there, knows that it is a very happy place. Our kids do not look like kids who are suffering. You would never think that they're kids who have experienced some of the extreme abuse and neglect and abandonment that they have experienced, because one of the priorities of Casa Shalom is that they know Jesus while they're there, that they will come to know his love, because we know that even if they're only in Shalom for a short time, if they can only know Jesus while they're with us, he will be with them when they leave. So if there's anything we can do, is let them know who Jesus is and who will be their father and the lover of their soul after they've left the joy and the security and the safety of Casa Shalom. So that is our number one goal, and I thank you for putting me there. I currently am sort of the on-site supervisor of everything in the home, so the directors are Josh and Jessica Hansen, who live in Minnesota, and they have trusted me to oversee the care of the kids. I oversee our education, medical care of the kids. We do have a doctor that comes, and then I oversee the treatment and ongoing care of the kids. And I am responsible for all of the staff that cares for the kids. So all of the direct care of the children is under my supervision. And I thank you for making that possible. And I will pass the mic on. Thank you.